All right, so for our second day doing this, we're gonna focus on making the snowballs for our snowman at night. And we have our moon shining in our picture, and we know that when the moon shines on something, it's gonna show a lighter spot where the moon is shining on it, and it's gonna show a darker area where it's not. So we have three parts to make our circles look like spheres, because we want our spheres, or our balls of snow, to look more 3D. So the first thing is we have these lighter spots where the moon is hitting it, shining on it, and we call that the highlight. Then we have this lightest blue, which is called the mid-tone. Think of it like the middle color. And then we have what is called the shadow right here along the edge where the moonlight isn't shining on it at all. And that's gonna be your darkest color. Now, none of these colors are very dark because we are working with snow here, and snow itself is very light. So the colors are gonna stay lighter because snow is lighter. If it were something darker, then the colors could get a lot darker, but we're gonna keep them pretty light so it stays looking like snow at night. Now, we are gonna do these snowballs on a handout, a worksheet. So it's gonna look like this when we're done today, and then we'll be able to cut those out and assemble them to build our snowman tomorrow. So when we get started here, our goal is to begin with our name. So we are gonna use our pencil, and then we are gonna paint all three of these snowballs today. So after my name is in the box, I can get my painting supplies. So I'm gonna need my brush, my water cup, and my paper towel. And I have my paints here ready to go. So I've got white, a very, very light blue, and then a light blue. So when I get started, I'm gonna turn this around actually. I am gonna start with the white first. I'm gonna do one snowball at a time. So I'm gonna start up here at the top. And again, it's okay to have a little bit of water in the brush, but most of it you don't want in the brush. You can have just a little damp brush. Dip just the tip, so no swirling, no scooping, dip just the tip. And then very carefully, we're gonna outline the center circle here first. And the lines are very light so that once we're done painting, we don't see them anymore. So it is kind of hard to see white on white, but usually you can tell because the paint is wet. So you're gonna outline first and then real gently kind of fill it in. Don't go too fast. If you press really hard on the brush, it splits the bristles apart and then it makes it really hard to stay inside the lines. So take your time, don't go fast. There's no rush. All right, so that's the first part, that's the highlight. So then I'm gonna clean and dry my brush. And I'm gonna move to the mid-tone, which is the lightest blue. So I'm gonna take my lightest blue, and I'm gonna outline the next ring around that white circle. And the ring is skinnier near the top because the moon is coming from above, and then it's wider near the bottom because of that. So it is gonna look a little bit off center, and that's okay, because the moon is not shining straight on the snowman, it's shining from above. So then I'm gonna, after I outline, I'm gonna fill in the space here with my brush, not pressing too hard. And then I'm gonna blend. So I'm gonna get a clean, dry brush, because right now it just looks like a white circle with a blue ring around it. I want these to blend so it looks more like a sphere. So clean, dry brush, and I'm gonna just kind of take that brush, I'm gonna go around the edges a few times and kind of get that white and that blue to blend together a little bit. Now, if you feel like it's got too much on it, clean and dry your brush again, and then just use that cleaner brush again if it starts to take too much blue. Okay, so you just wanna kind of spin it around there, get those edges blended together. So now, with my clean brush, I'm gonna go to the darkest blue. This is the shadow blue. And I'm gonna outline the edge of my snowball first. So nice and careful, close to the edge. If it gets outside, it's a little bit's okay, because you are gonna cut these out, so you can always fix that when you cut it. But really important, we're not leaving any white spots on the inside of it. So if you see a white spot on the inside of it, make sure you fill it in. And then I'm gonna fill this in up to the light blue. Try not to go over the light blue. And then once I've got this filled in, I have to blend these two blues together. So I'm gonna get my brush clean and dry, and then I'm gonna kind of drag the brush right along the edge of those blues. Just kind of spin them a little bit, get them mixed up together. Okay, and so that way it looks like a sphere when I'm done instead of circles. We want it to look like a sphere. Okay, so then once the first one's done, I start over. So then I go back to the white, into the next one, outline around the edge, fill it in, clean and dry my brush. This one's a little harder because it's a little smaller, so try to use just the tip of the brush when you're painting. If you press down real hard, the brush gets real big. All right, and then once I do that, I'm gonna go around the white circle too. And then I'm gonna fill in the middle part. And then I have to blend. So I'm gonna clean and dry my brush again. And if your paper towel gets too wet, you can just go get a new one. And I'm just gonna kind of take that brush right along the edge there, kind of swirl those two colors together. Right along the edge, not the whole thing, just along the edge. Then I'm gonna clean and dry my brush. I'm gonna get my darker blue for the shadow. That's my shadow color, where the moon isn't shining on it. Outline the edge of the snowball. And then fill it in up to the lighter blue. And then when I'm done doing that, I have to blend those two blues together again with a clean, dry brush. Just kind of drag it along the edge there. And spin it around like that if you want. And then I do the last one. So then I would finish up the last one so that when it's done, I have 3 snowballs that look like spheres, like 3D spheres, that I'm ready to cut out tomorrow.